you're in a unique situation being that not only an assistant coach, but also a parent. How do you help facilitate or basically help convince other parents that their son or daughter's involvement in this is worthwhile? It's to the benefit of their sons or daughters.
I've been involved with youth sport in the community for a long time, and I know a lot of people. And so I think people do have a bit of trust in me. And so I just explain to them, I say I've lived it as a parent. Now I'm helping coach, but I understand what it's about. I understand what Sean is trying to accomplish. He certainly has his critics, but I think that he does not ask too much. I assure them that he does not ask too much of these kids. He asks what they can give, but he asks it. It's not, would you like to do this? This is what you need to do. And I think most of the parents buy that. Maybe some don't, but then maybe they don't stay with us, so.
Getting the parent support can be very difficult. It's important. If the parents don't believe in what I'm doing, it'll never happen. So we have a lot of meeting with my parents only. I want to educate them on why we do the training, the reasons we do it. To the fact that they joke, they're like, you talk a lot, you have meetings, but I think it's important because my parents know why we do certain things. When I presented the Big Bear trip to them, they thought I was crazy. What are you, nuts, going there for a month? But within 2 weeks, they all said I want to go. And then I had more parents that wanted their kids to go. We didn't have room for. But I think it's important because I think if you educate them like the student athletes that I have, I think they'll be behind you. And obviously having success, it makes it easier. But in the beginning, it's hard because you're going, we've never gone to the state meet before. We've never been a top state team, and I want to do this, this, and this. And they're like, what? We just want my kid to run, and that's it. But it's hard work, but I think educating them, and I'm big on meetings with my parents only and making sure they know why we do certain things.
So my first impression of Coach Sean Brosnan, I think our first meet that we were at was up at UC Santa Barbara, the Gaucho Invitational. And I would say it was probably more like, wow, he's intense. Sean's just passionate. He really is passionate about the sport. The time that he puts into it and the dedication that he and his wife, Tanya, put into these kids of driving them to different places, getting them to meets, getting them to opportunities. You really see their dedication to the sport and the kids through those opportunities.
My first impression of Coach Sean was at an event at the high school called Future Panther Night. And Newbury Park High School has the coaches and I think some teachers come to meet freshmen that are incoming. And I'd heard about this new coach, and I had some Marine background. I thought, let's go see what this is going to be about. So I went over there, and it was pretty crowded, and Sean was talking to people, on and off, so we waited a while. But I started talking to him, and we hit it off. Our coaching philosophies are almost identical. I ended up talking to him for about 10 or 15 minutes. I kept looking behind me, thinking other parents are going to be throwing rocks at me to get out of the way or something, you know what I mean?
So I think the word that sums him up the best is just passion. He's very passionate about running and coaching and mentoring the kids. But, when we first met him, he was the assistant coach, and you could just definitely sense that passion and enthusiasm, and that's really contagious. And he is really good at transferring that enthusiasm to the kids, and I think that really motivates them for the running.
I always say there's 3 rules. You have to have support from the administration, have to have support from the parents, and number 3, student athletes. And we had that. Thank you.
How do I help parents? I'm laughing because I say, go talk to Doug. That's usually, Doug likes to handle that. I try to help them to say, hey, you know what? We're here to celebrate your kid. We're here to help them achieve their goals. Your best job, or the best thing you can do, is just be the cheerleader. We're the coaches now. We're not taking over a parental role, but let us do our job. And this is a hard thing to do. Letting the coaches coach your child when you've been so hands-on up to that point. Those are the conversations I have with some of the parents who come in. They have high expectations, rightfully so, but I also want them to feel like they can trust us. And when it doesn't go well, I just send them off to Doug.
I think the parents buy in because when they come in from the first moment, we let them know this is going to be more than just a running club. This is going to be high-end expectation across the board. And we do lose some kids because the parents don't want to put that much time and effort in. But for the most part, I would say the parents realize, look, our kids are a part of something special. And, you know, there's not a lot of parents that don't want their kids to be a part of something special. So they know that they're going to take a lot away from this, more than just winning. They're going to take a lot of lessons from this. They're going to help them in life, how to work through adversity, you know, how to get to that next level. And you know, there's nothing bad in that for parents, for their kids.
You hear things, my first impression with Coach Salz is funny because Gabriel goes from middle school and we know he might have a chance to either play soccer or play or run in cross country. And we know it's the top program in the nation. So you're intimidated by his figure, by who he is, and by what you hear from other people in the Valley. You know, oh, you know, he's this, he's that. The moment I met him, I was very impressed. To me, it was amazing because here's a guy with all these accolades, with everything. He can brag all he wants, in my book. But he's able to sit down with me and explain cross country to me, to any parent that will approach him. And all you have to do is just say, how does this work, coach? And he'll spend infinite time just letting you know because he's so passionate about the sport and the program. And to see this figure be so caring with the kids. To me, I mean, when you see coaches that are like that, you're like, wow, I can see a kid going, because running is individual sport, right? But in cross country, you got to make him believe that you have to be part of a team. So you're not going to win today. You need to be 15 in the race. He is able to do that with the kids. It's just amazing. When I met him, I saw all that and it was just really good.
We got to go to back to school night and we got to meet Coach Salz, and I would say there was a perfect blend of intensity and sincerity. He's passionate about what he does, and that was clear from the beginning, even as a teacher before seeing him as a coach.
I talked to Coach Salz before we moved to the Temecula area. So I knew his resume, I knew what the team was about. I was impressed. Being involved in a youth program for years, I know what it's like to run a program with 300 kids and their families. I was extremely impressed with Coach Salz and his program. It is a well-oiled machine.
We had a lot of early challenges at Grado because we opened with just freshman and sophomore class. So we had 65 kids the first year. You know, we had a lot of different coaches and a lot of different philosophies. So it was tough. You know, it took us a long time to agree on what we were going to do for the warm-up, what we were going to do for workouts.
The biggest challenge I had with the team, I think, had to change these kids' mind on what was fast and what they're capable of. I had a guy on my team named Ethan Duffy. They saw his success. They saw him running the 1540s at a Woodward Park, which for my team then was very good.